in the remaining 5-6 minutes, I'd like to just squeeze in 3 more questions. The next one, maybe I'm too ambitious here. So the next one is on CNN. So I know CNN, obviously, it's a smaller part of WBD, but when I went to the upfront and saw Mark Thompson on stage, and when he talked about all the compelling content, the storytelling that he's planning, it kind of reminded me of like NPR storytelling at scale. And I mean that in a very, very good way. And for those of you who don't know Mark Thompson, he headed up BBC, what he would call proper British news. And also he turned around New York Times with a digital first strategy. So it's very credible executive. And his story was quite compelling. It's not just me. I think a lot of investors had that impression. What is the future of CNN? Because it hasn't done so well. The ratings have suffered, but another way to kind of think about that is maybe there's only upside from where it is, especially with Mark Thompson at the helm. What's the future?
Well, Mark is a great executive. CNN has actually done very well for us economically. It's a very strong asset in terms of EBIT and free cash flow. When we think about CNN, we think about the opportunity for CNN as a global brand. We're not looking as much at the ratings. We're looking at what are the numbers around CNN as a trusted global brand for news? And those numbers are way up. And I think, we're coming to what we believe is going to be a real opportunity in that there's very few news organizations around the world that have thousands of great journalists on the ground, almost everywhere in the world, documenting in real time what's going on. And more, we think that's going to be more important. Could we get higher ratings by doing more advocacy in different areas? That's not who we are. We're a news organization with great journalists. And I think that gives us a chance, potentially, and Mark is very focused on this with Alex McCallum, who he worked with at the New York Times to create a very robust digital business. That the idea, and particularly now with AI, when people can look at a video and not know if it's real. As human beings, when we would see something with our eyes, we would know it was real. Well, now we're not going to really know. But when the tanks started to roll on Russia, and we had 28 people on the ground reporting, Clarissa Ward, all of our, a ton of our very credible, recognizable personalities. And then within 14 minutes, you have Christiana Amanpour behind a desk. What's the result of that? The result is every president, every prime minister, everywhere in the world has one feed on CNN. Most other news organizations, they were at a desk. They're not a news organization the way we are. That currency of being a global trusted source of news, we're not just a U.S. source of news. We're the only true global, credible, trusted, or maybe the most, we believe, trusted source of news. And that's our job. And that, I think, could be a very big business. And that's what Mark is driving toward. What's the value when people want to know what's going on in a particular market? So we've got a great team there. We got the ability to this idea. We now have 150 million people come to us a month. We need to get them to spend more time with us. We need them to spend more money with us. But they come to us because they want to know what's going on in the world. So I think that could be very big for us.